Microphone. There we go. Not only is the dream of 82-0 dead, ladies and gentlemen, but and it died on Saturday night with that loss against the Red Wings, but we are now at the point where people in the chat are debating if we are even going to be making the playoffs. And you can understand the frustration. You can understand the people freaking out about what's gone on and why we're here and the results to this point. But look, at this point, I'm just going to talk about game in, game out. All we can talk about is what happened in that day. And what I will talk about for this game here tonight is it felt like at least they got headed in the right direction. It felt like you saw a little bit more intensity out of Matthews. That first line looked better. Maybe it was just the fit of Easton Cowan being in there, but I thought he looked good. I thought the first line started to pick up. There's some questions I have elsewhere, but there were some other players who were noticeable in this game tonight. There are some positives around this and around these guys. And it can't all be negative, especially at this point where you're trying to kind of get a feeler for how things are going and what the team could be. And I think that when you kind of look at them, you can understand that inside of what we're seeing, there is a good enough team that can make the playoffs. But I think the frustrating thing that you can kind of gather here as Leafs Nation, and I'm sure Craig Berube is going to be feeling the frustration, and I bet you guys in that locker room will be as well, is that there does seem to be a lack of fire surrounding these guys, like a lack of intensity. And, I'm going to kind of skip ahead to the end of the game and take this as one of the main reasons or examples or whatever of what I see as an issue for this Leafs team. And it's been an issue year in and year out. And I saw someone come in here into the show, or into the chat already right away to kick it off, and they were like, you missing Marner yet? Like, no, this is not a missing Marner issue. This is an issue that this team has had year in and year out for 10 years. And it was hard to watch with Marner. He was a part of the problem. Sometimes he was the leading cause of the problem. It's intensity, and these guys just don't have it. And the example I'm going to use to show that and to explain what happens when you go from game 2 against game 1, game 2, game 3 here of the season, game 1 against Detroit, game 2 against Detroit, very noticeable, especially, where it's lacking that. At the end of the game, Easton Cowan goes to the front of the net. He's whacking away at a rebound there where you're down 1 goal and you're pushing to come back into this game. And he eats a cross-check from Ben Sherratt. The only player on the ice who responded in any sort of way was Matthew Knies. And he's being mugged by grabbed, I should say, Matthew Knies. And he's being grabbed by 4 other Red Wings players who are holding him back from getting to Ben Sherratt. Matthews, he's got his hands at his side. He's got his legs straight. He's just watching it happen. Tavares is just standing there watching. Willie's on the other side of the ice. Morgan Rielly, I think, would do something, but you're kind of handcuffed in that situation a little bit too there where, he's kind of got to rush down from the blue line. It's not going to be something where it's that easy for him to jump in, but everyone just standing there watching. You need to have some fucking balls. Like, we're not going to go nuts here and talk about how the season's over. That's it. They're not making the playoffs. They're a good enough team, but the nucleus of this team just doesn't have it. You need to bring in some other guys here that are not complementary pieces, but they're going to be the leaders of this. Because if you've got a guy who's your big guy and he's your big dog and he stands around on the outside when that's happening, that's pathetic. I'm sorry. That is not captain material. That is not a leadership quality that you want of the guy who's leading you from the front. Like, you want to know why you can't get dragged into the fight when it's playoff time? You want to know why you can't figure it out when you're playing the Florida Panthers and the game gets tough? That's it right there. And I don't want to hear fucking shit here on the postgame show tonight about, missing Marner this, missing Marner that. Mitch Marner was as much, if not more, of the problem as the other guys. It was very much right in there with them about it. This is a good team. They've got a lot of skill, and from that standpoint, they're going to figure it out. They're going to win games, and I strongly believe they're going to make the playoffs. So all the nonsense that we see here already about they'll miss the playoffs, they'll be on the outside, they'll this, they'll that, whatever, I disagree. Like, I don't care. I will come on here and debate you, go head-to-head over it. I disagree. That's not going to be the case. But what will be a legitimate conversation is what happens when you get to the playoffs and you try to look around and figure out who's the guy to drag us in there. It's Matthew Nyes. He's the one who's going to have to bring you into the fight. And when you're paying a guy $13.5 million and you're paying $11.5 million and they've got their hands in their pockets when things get tough, that is when you are fucked. Alex Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, they drag you into the fight. Nathan McKinnon, Gabe Landeskog, Cale Makar, like, whether it's the intensity of their play, getting involved in scrums, throwing helmets at guys, I don't give a shit what it is. They find ways to do that. The big boys in Toronto have never, and at this point, I'm willing to say they will never, ever be the kind of guys to do that. So either you're going to have to bring in other pieces who are just as good at that as them, who actually have some fire and have some stones, or this just isn't going to be the group, because they're good enough to get there. Are they good enough to get over the hump? If those guys won't do it, I'm going to have to put my foot down and just say no. And, you know, it is early. It is game 3, and I still believe they're going to make the playoffs, and they still can make changes. But I don't think it's going to be the guys who are here on this team right now who are going to be the ones to change that DNA. Those guys have it so far ingrained in them, it's going to be almost impossible to change at this point. This is who they are. Like, this is who that group is. It's the reality of it. It's not the style of play. It's not any of that. It's like, it's between the ears and it's in the heart. That's the issue that they have. It's unfortunate to see, because we're 3 games in and we're just already understanding, like, this is an issue. And also, like, another note here, in the chat, I see a lot of, this style of play doesn't suit this team. It's the Berube style. Well, we had the Sheldon Keefe style, which was the polar opposite of this for however many years it was that he was here. I think it was like 4 or 5 years of the playoffs that he was here, and that didn't work. Like, stop making the excuse the system and the style of play. It's not the system. It's not the style of play. It's the players that are playing in the system. It is not what's around them. It's what's in it. So I have had enough of these bullshit excuses. Oh, we miss Mitch. This is the problem. It's Keefe's fault because he's too soft and he's too nice and it's too skilled. It's Berube's fault because he's too mean and he's too forecheck heavy and try to play this heavy physical game, and that doesn't suit them. Fucking sack up and figure out how to play, because that's the style of hockey that's going to win. It's the style of hockey that won Berube a Stanley Cup before. It's had him have success before. So it's not the system that's being played. It's the players that are playing the system. And again, pointing to that specific example of Easton Cowan getting cross-checked, a rookie playing in his first game who played amazing here tonight, I thought he was well deserving of those final minutes that he got put out there on the ice to close out this game. He gets out there, he goes with those guys, he's creating opportunities, he's fearless, he looks comfortable in the minutes that he's playing, and then we watch him get cross-checked by Ben Sherratt, which, like, I don't think it's an issue by Ben Sherratt, he just gets cross-checked. You gotta be in there fucking having some stones. If you're Austin Matthews, get in there. Grab the guy. He looks like he's so disinterested right now. Nylander looks so disinterested right now. I'm not even at the point where it's like a style of play or anything like that isn't good enough. It's the mentality that these guys have in them. They just don't have it. Something's got to change there. I don't even want to talk about style. I don't want to talk about the system. I don't want to talk about the coach. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. The power play, it didn't work before Savard got here. It didn't work when Savard got here. It still doesn't fucking work. Maybe it's not the power play coach. Maybe it's the guys on the power play. It's unbelievable watching these guys and just lacking balls, lacking any type of heart. Quick reminder here, today's show is a presentation, as always, of Bet365. Thank you to our friends at Bet365 for sponsoring the show. Just also a quick reminder, if you want to get your Super Chats in, as we have our first one of the day here that we're going to get to, you want to get your Super Chats in, proceeds from our Super Chat do go to Sick Kids. You want a question or comment read on the show, you want to get my thoughts, you want the chat to see it, whatever it is, send in your Super Chats. Let us know what it is that you guys are thinking about tonight's game, how you feel, your question, whatever, and I will read and respond to every single one of them that pops up here on the show today. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching, for participating, and for being a part of the show here today. The first Super Chat of today's post-game show on the Leaf Station After Dark in the evening, Thursday, Thanksgiving edition. Nate92 with the Super Chat. Matthews is just an undeniable loser that can't stop humiliating himself, relying on third liners to carry the offense. And some responses there. Austin Matthews hairline says need to trade him while he has value. And John Gallagher says been saying this since the bubble when he couldn't get us past Columbus. Look, I'm not gonna say like you got to trade this guy. I think these are like nuts conversations that we're having. But what I will say is that it's very frustrating watching that be the leader of the group that's going out there and just lacking intensity the way that he does. I mean, you know, you watch the group, you watch these teams, and you watch the group rally behind their star players who have that fire, who have that intensity, who bring that passion in. They're the captains of the team. They're the highest paid players of the team, and they fucking go. When things get tough, they are the ones who are going. They're the ones who are figuring it out and dragging you into the fight. And then you watch these guys, and it's like the only time you really see that push from them where they've got that game breaker mentality is when it's down by 1 goal with like 5 minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden they're making a push. Down by 2, 5-6 minutes left, and they're making a push, and it's like it's too little too late. Where is that for 60 minutes? Like, where was that at the start of the game? Why don't you have that? I don't get how these guys find this acceptable to play this way, to kind of go throughout a game like this, like, and then you watch it in the playoffs, and it's like they expect themselves to be able to flip this switch where all of a sudden you could figure it out, or we expect them to be able to flip a switch where now they go into the playoffs and, oh yeah, they'll be able to figure it out because it just means more. Well, no, they don't have it all year. You know, like, I say this guy a lot, I say his name a lot, but you watch Nathan MacKinnon, you watch the intensity he plays with, like, he looks like if you miss a pass on his team, he's going to rip your head off. And yeah, maybe that's a toxic way to go about it, or toxic approach to the game, or whatever. We could debate that till we're blue in the face. But the reality is there's a lot of times Nathan MacKinnon will put the team on his back and say, let's fucking go. And they all look around and go, oh shit, we got to go. He's the highest paid player. He's the guy who's in the Hart Trophy conversation. He's up there for the Art Ross. You know, he's the MVP. And they all look around the room and go, oh shit, let's get on our horse and get going here. We haven't woken up. Even Connor McDavid in Edmonton, like, he's not going to go out there and punch guys' lights out. But what McDavid will do is get involved, get in the scrum. He's going to stick up for his teammates. And then you watch the intensity in his eyes and the way that he approaches the game. Like, I think it's too early here to discuss execution and play style and that kind of stuff. We'll figure more about this as the season goes on and as we get to game 15, 20, 25, 30, all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is you watch these other games and you click around the league and you turn on the superstars and other teams playing, and they have a motor. And then you watch the Leafs games and it looks like Matthews and Nylander are still in the preseason. Like, they look like they are just out for a Sunday skate, and they don't have that. And the reason it's so frustrating and not like, oh, it's okay, they'll get it, is because you're in year 10. You're a long way into these guys' careers. And it's not about like, oh, they've really got it, they just can't break over the hump. Like I saw people questioning a clip that went out from the show the other day being like, well, it's the mentality, and these guys are just, like Ov and Backstrom didn't win. It took them a long time, so they just got to keep pushing through and they'll get there. The difference is, you watch those guys, they played with a fire to their games. These guys seem to lack it. They seem to really lack it night in and night out, and that's where it loses me, and I start to feel like, if these are the guys that are leading your team, you're just going to play like this soft group forever, because that's all that it is that you've put together. Your leaders are soft, and it permeates throughout the rest of the group, and that's really frustrating. Jose Duarte with a super chat here as well. Jose says, I agree, Zach. They need physicality. Yeah, like that was my pushback today on the sheet with Merrick, is he said, the Leafs look slow, and I do agree. They do look slow. I think part of it is that they're still getting up to speed as a team. Like even some of these other games and teams that you're watching around the league, some of them look like they're slower, and some of them look like they're trying to get up to speed here as well. But, they are a slower group. I don't think you need speed anymore to the same degree in today's NHL that you used to like 4 years ago, when everything was kind of like this really super fast-paced game going up and down the ice quickly. Like now it's a little bit more of slow it down, shut it down. Let's rip through this thing, and let's muddy the game, and then we're going to create chances, and we're going to beat the hell out of you. Like, there's a slower style to it. But the issue that you're having with these guys is this intensity to play a part of that game. It's just not there right now. Like you're really watching them struggle with it, and that's a frustrating situation. I don't know. I just cannot subscribe here to what I see in the chat of some people, like I'm seeing comments from different people about, it's this DNA change was bullshit. The GM's an idiot. The coach is the wrong coach, all this stuff. Like I'm not going to say that. I cannot say that. I don't think it's appropriate or fair at this point to say that. I think that you're looking at the star players and you're saying, you got to fucking figure this shit out. You got to figure this shit out. You're seeing quotes here from the Postgame, and I think that this is like, Craig Berube says he wants more shots and more skating out of William Nylander. We need more out of him. I appreciate that, and that's proper. That's correct. Like, you need a lot more out of him. I don't know, man. It's this is a frustrating start to the season here right now. Just that's, and not even about whether or not they win or lose results. I'm not stressed about that. It's I can't believe, we're at this point and we're just talking about like effort and balls. I mean, I should be able to believe it, because that's been an issue that we've had here with these guys for a long time. All right, let's talk about some of the specifics of tonight's game. We'll run through these. I'm sure there's a lot of people here as well who want to go and watch the Jays game, so I will be respectful of that as well. And as well, on top of that, I saw a comment. Somebody asked, when is the smelling salts? The smelling salts will come at 50 likes. We're currently at 25, so you guys get those likes up. When we get to 50 likes, then we do the smelling salts. Simple as that. I've got the bottle right here. So you hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401 on all your platforms. Make sure to check us out, Leafs Nation After Dark, on podcasts as well. The show does go up on podcasts, so you don't want to miss that. What time does the Jays game start as well, by the way? I think it starts in like a minute or so, or actually might have started already, but oh yeah, there you go. Top of the first, 2 on for the Mariners. Nice. We do have some things that we got to get to in the post-game show today. We're going to do play of the game. We'll do the grade of the game. We'll get to our best bet, and we'll get to the stat of the day as well. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. We'll do the smelling salts, all that good stuff. Quick thoughts on what we've got for the game today. That Rielly icing, I don't know. I want to give him enough leeway here because I think he's played better to start this season. That icing has to be called for what it is. That was a brain dead play. Detroit goes on a rush. It's a tie game. Rielly picks up the puck. Turn up ice. And he just shoots it away. Shoots it down the ice. There was no need for that. Could have taken his time. Could have skated out. The other thing was he definitely could have at that point flipped it up and out of the zone. Could have gave it some time to get under it, whatever you needed, but just firing it down the ice like that was a pure panic move. And ends up with the puck back in your own zone on a face-off in your own zone. That causes that goal. That's a go-ahead goal for Mason Appleton to put the Red Wings up with 44 seconds left in the game. Zero need for that Rielly ice. Pure panic play. I thought he's looked better here so far through the first 3 games. I think he's had some more life to him. But that icing was brain dead, and that's the main reason here for that goal. That's the catalyst for that go-ahead goal by Appleton. Ice the puck, face off in your own zone. Puck goes back to the Red Wings defenseman. Matthews steps up to block it. It drops right in front of him, and Appleton wheeling around one times that puck into the short side top corner. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. I don't know. I see a lot of people in the chat here right now ripping on Rielly, ripping on me for saying Rielly's been better. I don't know how you could watch Rielly right now and not say that he's been better to start this season. He's had a lot more jump. He's never been defensive. So I don't know what we're expecting. All right, what else was there from tonight? Anthony Stolarz, I thought, looked good again. He made some big saves, didn't face too much, which, again, is going to be a killer for the guy. 15 shots for the Red Wings, 40 for the Maple Leafs. And, I mean, you look at where Stolar's stats end up for tonight. He's got an 800 save percentage. The Larkin goal that scored is a battle down low that is in Chris Tanev's legs. Larkin pulls it out, goes to his backhand, and just makes a nice shot in tight. Sure, maybe Stolarz could have gotten bigger. Maybe Stolarz could have got his hands out on it, but I don't traditionally look at that as somebody who doesn't really know too much about goaltending and say, that can't happen. What the hell is Stolarz doing? That's not a goal that I look at Anthony Stolarz and say, you have to have that. Personally, I don't. The Appleton goal, or let's go to the JVR goal next. The JVR goal, okay, maybe, but that's also JVR bread and butter in tight, making a play like that. He goes backhand all the way, showing backhand. Last second, he pulls it forehand. He goes upstairs on that one. And then the final one is the Appleton one, which I think Stolarz could have made the save, or you probably could have asked him to try to make that save or be the guy making the save. But where I will give him some credit or excuse, I guess, is Matthews is kind of right in front of his eyesight on that one, taking away his lane to the puck with the screen. He's right there blocking him off. Puck drops down in front of him. Stolarz has got to fight through that one, and then it goes short side. Again, sure, potentially could have had that one, but this is not a, wow, Anthony Stolarz lost you this game. The other things that I want to get to for tonight, let's go some of the positives. Dakota Joshua in the first and the second period looked like he was picking it up and looked a little bit better. Disappeared in the third to me. Nick Waugh, I thought, looked fine tonight. Not as good as I thought he looked on Saturday, but I think he looked okay. Okay, just okay, not great. Then I would also look at Bobby McMahon. That's the guy that I think looked really good here in this game. I thought Bobby McMahon had some jump. I thought that he had some fire under his legs. It felt like Bobby McMahon started to kind of get back to Bobby McMahon of last year over the last two games, where you could see the physical play, where he's going to be a guy who's going to win battles. He can protect the puck pretty well. And, I mean, on top of that, he's also a guy who can kind of create and be a part of some offense, I would say. Like, he's a guy who can also contribute offensively while maybe not being the most offensive player in the world. He can provide you some offensive depth down into your bottom six because he's just got that ability to him. He looked a little bit better here tonight. In my opinion, he looked even better here tonight. Calle Yarncroke, 3 goals through 3 games. People can say what they want about Calle Yarncroke, but here's going to be my argument about having the guy in the lineup and on your roster or whatever. If Calle Yarncroke is on your fourth line, you're in a very good position. He's a guy who isn't afraid. He gets up and down the ice quickly. He's got some speed to his game. He can kill penalties. He can play a late game situation. Berube trusts him in the defensive zone. He's got some offensive ability. If he has to play in your top 6, you are in a difficult position. That's where you would much rather not have him be. If he's in your top 6, then yeah, you've got some issues. But 3 goals to this point. You could see some skill there from him. You can see the confidence. Good in your bottom 6. Let's get to our Uber Eats stat of the day. Thank you to our friends at Uber Eats for participating in the show. A new sponsor here on the Leafs Nation After Dark. And with that comes an opportunity to bring you some fun stats. So for today's Crave the Stat, Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app, from game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. Make sure to head on over to Uber Eats. Click the link in the description. Our Uber Eats stat of the day today: Austin Matthews had 15 shot attempts tonight. He had as many shot attempts as the Detroit Red Wings had shots on goal as well. On top of that, Austin Matthews ends up finishing this game here tonight with 8 total shots on goal. That leads all skaters on the ice tonight by a large amount. The next closest, Bobby McMahon, with 5 shots on goal. You've also got, over on the Red Wings side of things, DeBrincat had 4. You know, Matthews was shooting the puck. I'll give him that. Morgan Rielly had 4 there as well. Cam Talbot was really good for the Red Wings tonight. He made some very good saves. He made some big-time saves as well. But Austin Matthews, 15 shot attempts, 8 shots on goal is our stat of the day. Another one, a little baby nugget to throw in there for people for today's stat of the day. Power play, 0 for 2. Now, they had a couple decent opportunities. They had some fine looks, but in terms of like actually being dangerous, I don't feel like this power play is very dangerous, and it feels like it's been the same since last year as well. Like, it feels like it's just carried over year after year for like the last 3-4 years of this power play just being stale and being ugly to watch, and just like, they go to the power play and I'm almost dreading the fact that they're going to the power play. Like, I don't want to see them go out there because it just kills time and kills momentum. It does. And now you're trying to battle your way through it to get out the other side without giving the other team momentum on your own power play. It's an absurd thing for me right now, watching the power play go out there, still being the same issue. As Austin Matthews' hairline says, 2 minutes of standing still. That's what it feels like. 0 for 2 on the power play here tonight. 0 for in our last 2 games as well. So, frustrating stuff. Frustrating stuff. Let's now get to our play of the game for tonight. Tonight's play of the game. The real play of the game is Bobby McMahon driving down the wall and then hitting Matthew Knies. Wins the wall battle, drives down hard, gets down low, beats his guy to the front, inside at least, gets the pass across to Matthew Knies with a beautiful pass that, like, it literally could not have been more tape to tape. If you want to look for a tape to tape pass, it could not have been more tape to tape, to the point where Matthew Knies did not even move his stick. It just hit his stick and goes in the net past Cam Talbot. That gets you the first one on the board for tonight. That is my play of the game. My honorable mention is Easton Cowan on that one-on-one play against, I can't remember who the Red Wings defender was right now, but gets in, gets his back to the defender, protects the puck, and then spins around and gets a decent shot off. That was like somewhat of a dangerous play there. But it's more so just the confidence, the fact that he's showing this ability to make plays, this willingness to make plays, even if something's not guaranteed. He's trying. I thought Easton Cowan looked good here tonight. I thought he deserved the opportunities that he got. I thought he deserved the minutes that he had. The only things that I would kind of say to him, if I was going to have any kind of critique, is just there's no need for him to force feed Matthews. A lot of times you could see him getting across the blue line, and you could see him start to look and be like, okay, I've got to find Matthews. I have to give it to 34. I've got to give it to the big guy. And in a way, Matthews was getting a lot of shots off here tonight, but so maybe he's trying to say, hey, let's get it to him. The more he goes, he'll score. But just from the perspective of him creating, trying things, having some good vision, I thought he looked good. The other thing that I'll say with him, if I was going to give another critique, is just pace of play. I think that he will adapt here and understand it as he continues to move along and figure out, okay, how does the pace of the game go at a regular season tempo here, and how to adapt, because I think there was sometimes he was like a step ahead of something because he was trying to get there early, or he was a step behind because it came a little bit too fast. He'll figure out that tempo, and then I think once he does, I think he'll be a very, very, very effective player, which I already think he's done a pretty good job of. those are my thoughts on Easton County. Oh, a final thing. Nice to see that he's physical. Gets in hard on the forecheck, finishes checks, creates pressure, applies it pretty well. He caused a couple of turnovers here tonight. I thought he looked pretty good. Okay, another one. Let's get to our best bet for tonight. Trying to think about the order. I want to go through this. Let's do tonight's best bet. This best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, NATION. That's code NATION, Bet365. You must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Quick recap of this one here. The best bet does not do too well for us. Losing here yet again. Easton Cowan to record a point does not happen. In terms of process over results, I would say that this was a decent process on this bet because the way Easton Cowan played here tonight, I thought he was all over it. I thought he had some good looks. I thought he was contributing well to the play, to the offense. So I'll give him the kudos there on that one. In terms of actually winning, it's tough now because we are down $40 on the season. We were up 10 after last game. We lose this one here today. Now you're down $40 on the season. Easton Cowan to record a point does not happen. We lose that one $50. Seeing in the chat, it is 3-1. Nice. Good stuff for the Jays. Okay, that is our best bet for tonight. Final thing we got to do before we wrap this thing up here. Let's get to our grade of the game. Just a quick note as well as we're going through 48 likes here on the stream so far. If you hit that like button, we get to 50. We will do the smelling salts before we close out the stream tonight. So hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel, Leaf Station 401 right here on YouTube. The grade of the game for tonight. Grade of the game, I'm going to go higher than what I had on Saturday, but I'm not going to go very much higher. I'm going to go with a C. I could go into C-, but I'll go with a C. I think that the first line looked better. I thought Easton Cowan looked good. The power play, no dice. I feel bad for Anthony Stolarz. His stats are not going to be good here to start this season. But I think he's played pretty well. That's another positive. Bobby McMahon's gotten going here. I look at Dakota Joshua. I thought he looked good through the first couple of periods. Your penalty kill goes 75% on the day. 3 for 4 on this one. I think that the process was better. Not good, but better than what it was on Saturday. You outshot them 40-15. You out-deserved to win-a-metered them. You lose on home ice. You're 1-2. I'm still waiting for Matthews, and I'm still waiting for Nylander to find that extra gear and get going because you're the big boys now. JT is 35. He's taken way less on his contract. He's been rather unnoticeable so far. And it's up to those two to kind of get things going offensively. And even with some of the points that they've put up, it's not really being like they've been taking over games or being very impactful to this point of the season. So need a lot more out of those guys. I'm going to go with a C. You lost. Yeah, I mean 6 1/3. A C grade after your opening outrage, Zach. Weird. It's not about the play, the quality of play and the execution and that kind of stuff. Like the outrage at the beginning, and the outrage will continue to be and always has been for me, the effort. of like those guys and just not having the fire in them. And I'm talking about two guys specifically. It's not the rest of the team that I'm looking at. It's Matthews and Nylander. You got to be leaders. You got to lead from the front. You got to be the ones who are going to push and push through the wall and drag the team into the fight, and they just don't. That's the outrage for me. That'll do it here tonight on the post-game show. I appreciate everyone who tuned in, who liked, who subscribed. Quick thing here. We're getting these to the end. 50 likes. That is deserving of smelling salts, so thank you guys very much for that. I appreciate it. Here's the smelling salts. There you go. All right. Like the stream on your way out. Subscribe here. Leafs Nation 401. Carter Hutton on with the boys tomorrow for Leafs Morning Take, and then I believe Hal Gill coming up on Wednesday. Thank you as always for watching this. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian friends abroad. Appreciate you all. Thank you for watching here. Enjoy the Jays game. Let's get a rally going for these Blue Jays. We will see everybody back here tomorrow night for a game preview during the day and then a post-game show right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel following the game for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Thank you all for watching. Go Jays, go. Don't worry. Let's keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.